in the QBO Gym, and the QBO Gym is a place where we have numerous hands-on exercises that simulate real-life scenarios that you may encounter as a bookkeeper. Each month covers a variety of new topics and scenarios, and to make it a little bit easier for you, we break it down into 4 different sections. So if you're looking to work on your bookkeeping skills, this is the place for you. And if you want to do a deep dive and do some of these on your own, be sure to join our free 5-day bookkeeping challenge. All you need to do is click on the link in the description after we go through the exercise. But let's dive right in. Our exercise today is coming from our April Year 1 cool down section. At the top here is an animated video to give you an understanding of what you, the bookkeeper, will be doing for your client Craig this month. He is our fictitious business owner. Further down is an interactive pre-assessment quiz. Below that are all of the exercises in this section. And then after you have completed those exercises, we do have some sample marketing posts that you will unlock to use on your LinkedIn to share with everybody what you have learned so far. So let's dive right into today's exercise where we're going to practice reconciling Craig's bank accounts. If you click on that link, the exercise will pull up for you. I have it over here on the right side of my screen, so let's read through our scenario. As a bookkeeper, your primary responsibility is to ensure that all financial transactions are correctly categorized and match the flow of money into and out of the bank. You have just received the monthly statements from Craig's bank, so now it's time to confirm that all the transactions have been correctly added to and categorized in QuickBooks Online. So to complete this exercise, you will need a copy of Craig's bank statement. Click on the link beneath the cooldown video to grab a copy. So if I go back here in the gym, here is that animated video. Below that is a button that says bank statement. If you click on that button, a bank statement will download for you, and it will look like this. Here you can see all the savings transactions, and then all of the checking transactions are below that. So keep this handy as you will need it for this exercise. You will also need to be in the sample company to do this exercise. Now, if you're not sure how to get into the sample company or get your own free QBOA account, be sure to click on the link in the description. I have the sample company pulled up here on the left side of my screen. Once you sign in, this is what it will look like. So let's go ahead and get started with the exercise. Now, as a note here, if you are completing this exercise in the same session of the sample company as previous exercises, you may see some different transactions in your registers. Don't worry about them, just stick with the bank statement. For the purposes of this exercise, I am in a brand new session, and so everything that you see on my screen will be as if you are in a brand new session. But just keep that in mind if you're going through a lot more of the other exercises. Some things may look a little bit different, and that's okay. Just stick to the bank statement and you will be good to go. So let's get started with the exercise. To get to the reconciliation screen, we're going to click on Accountant Tools and then click on Reconcile. So Accountant Tools is on the top of the screen. Click on that. And then under Quick Links, select Reconcile. Now, in the sample company, you will get 2 welcome screens, and this is because it is your first time in this area. You won't see this in a real life scenario with your customers or clients until, if it's your first time, you will, but after that, you won't see these screens anymore. So we're going to go ahead and click on Get Started right here. And then this other second welcome screen, we're going to click on Let's Get Reconciled. Now, in a real life scenario, you will not see those, like I mentioned, those welcome screens unless you are reconciling for the first time. So just keep that in mind. Now, note that this bank combines both the savings account and the checking account into one statement, as we talked about earlier. We'll start with the savings, but you can really do this in any order. So on the account field, we want to select savings. So in this field right here, click into it and then go ahead and select savings. The ending balance, we're going to type the ending balance for that's on the sample bank statement. So if you look at your sample bank statement, we see the savings account area right here. That ending balance is showing as $800.02. So that is what we are going to put here for this ending balance. Now we need to enter the ending date next. In a real life scenario, you would use the ending date from the bank statement. But for the purposes of this exercise, we're just going to use today's date. So in the ending date field, just type a lowercase t to enter today's date. So click into that box, type a lowercase t. The ending date will appear for you. It's going to default to today. And then we are all good here, so let's start reconciling. Click on that green button right there. And when you do, this information is going to appear for you. Now, if you get any pop-ups, just go ahead and click out of them. It's just QBO trying to give you extra information about what this area is all about. But let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about this. Just review what we're actually looking at on the screen, especially if this is your first time ever reconciling. Note that these numbers nor the account may not reflect this particular exercise, and I think it's talking about this particular screenshot down here. But we're just going to look at our screen right here and talk about what we are seeing here. So the first thing, the beginning balance is the ending balance from the last time that you reconciled. It can't be changed. So that beginning balance is right here. The statement ending balance is from the bank statement that we just entered on the previous screen. So that statement ending balance is right here. And then the statement ending date is also showing as today's date. Note that your date may be a little bit different than what you see on my screen. Now, if you discover that you have entered the wrong ending date or statement ending balance or the statement ending date, you can always edit this by just clicking on this Edit Info button. All right, so next to each transaction is a circle. You can see that right here. This will have a blue check mark if the transaction has already been marked cleared, such as when you're processing the bank fees. So if you click on this, it will turn blue. And once you click on transactions, obviously the savings account only has one transaction in here right now. But if you had multiple, as you were checking those off, it will be added to the total payments and deposits. Now the cleared balance that we have right here, this is the beginning balance minus the payments and deposits. So it's the beginning balance minus the payments and deposits will equal the cleared balance. As you can see, it's still showing as 600 because we haven't checked anything off. But as we check things off, these numbers will change, which will then change the cleared balance. Now the difference is the statement ending balance minus the cleared balance. So statement ending balance minus cleared balance equals the difference right here. The ultimate goal of reconciling is to check off transactions until the difference is zero. When the difference is zero, that means that everything that is showing on the bank statement is correctly matched here in QBO. So you want that to be a zero. It's very satisfying as a bookkeeper to have it as zero at the end of it. Now, one final thing here, that there will be some transactions that are currently showing are only those dated on or before the statement ending date. This can be turned off though by clicking on this X right here. This is a filter. It's filtering only those on or before the statement ending date. You may need to do this if you're not able to find certain transactions that may have been added with an incorrect date. These are often referred to as hidden or rogue transactions. So if you can't find something, maybe turn off that filter and look to see if it shows up after that. It may have just been entered incorrectly, the date, and just needs to be adjusted. All right, so now that we have talked about all of this, let's move on to the reconciliation. Now, there is only one transaction, and luckily it matches the one transaction on the statement. So if we look at the statement right here, here is the beginning balance showing that here is that deposit for $200, and that one is matching what is here on this screen. So we're going to go ahead and click on the circle to mark this transaction as reconciled. Now, the only thing that is missing is the interest deposit. Usually you will add this from the bank feed, but you can also easily add it right here manually as well. So this 2-cent difference is that interest right here, that interest paid for 2 cents. So let's go ahead and add that. We're going to click on the plus new button and then select bank deposit. The plus new button is on the top left corner of the screen. Click on that. And then in the other column, there is bank deposit. Go ahead and select that. Now note that if you completed the exercise for Craig's other mobile deposits in the same session of the sample company, you would not see the select the payments included in this deposit. That is all of this right here. You won't see that section because they have already moved out of undeposited funds. I am in a new session of the sample company, so everything is showing up right here. But it is not a concern as part of this exercise, just as if you're looking at my screen and looking at yours and it's different, that would be why. All right, so in the account field, we're going to select savings. So click into that account field right there, select savings. In the add funds to this deposit section, in the account field, we're going to select interest earned. So in this account field right here, go ahead and click into it. You can go ahead and start typing, or you can scroll to find it. Once you do, go ahead and select it. And then the amount, as we saw on the statement, is for 2 cents. So in the amount field, type 0.02. And now we can click on the down arrow next to Save and New to select Save and Close. So click on that down arrow right here, and then select Save and Close. And there we go. That bank deposit has now been saved. I'm getting pop-ups again. If you get those, go ahead and click out of those as well. So this is now matching what we needed to. So we're going to click on the circle to mark it as cleared. And as you can see, as soon as we did that, the difference is now showing as 0, which means that everything for the savings account has been reconciled. So we can go ahead and click on Finish Now. That is the green button right here. You'll get this little pop-up from QBO. As a note here, in a real-life scenario, you could actually attach the statement right here. There would be a button that says Attach Statement. You can't actually do that here in the sample company, so it's not there, but just know that that is an option when you are doing this for clients in real life. So go ahead and click on that Done button. And now that we have finished the checking account, let's turn our attention, or savings account, now let's turn our attention to the checking account. Note that during the reconciliation, there will be errors that you will need to fix. Watch for the red alert boxes to tell you when to stop and fix a transaction. So you'll see boxes like this as we go through the exercise, and that means that we need to fix a transaction. So let's get started here. In the account field, we want to select checking. So click into that box, select checking. The ending balance field, we need to enter the ending balance that is found on the sample bank statement. So if I click onto that right here, I will see here is the checking right here. Here is that ending balance, that $2543.78. So $2,548 and nope, I need to go back and look. $2,543.78. So 2543.78. 2543.78. Great. Next, we will enter the statement ending date. In a real-life scenario, you would use the ending date from the bank statement, but of course, for the purposes of this exercise, we're just going to use today's date. So we are going to type a lowercase t to enter today's date. So click into that box, type a lowercase t. Everything looks good, so let's go ahead and start reconciling. Click on the green Start Reconciling button. And now you will see all of the information appear for you for this particular account. Once again, if you start getting some of these pop-ups, go ahead and click out of them, even though we just closed them for the savings account. Now we're going to use the bank statement to check off the first 4 matching transactions. So let's go ahead and take a look at the bank statement. The first one that we have here is for Robertson and Associates. It's for $300. Let's go ahead and check that off. That is this top one right here. I'm going to need to scroll over a little bit. There we go. And then we have a deposit check for $175. Let's click on that one next. Here is that deposit for $175. Click on that. Then we have 250 for Robertson and Associates. Once again, let's go ahead and click on that circle right there. And then let's move on. We have a deposit check number 4 for $54.55. So click on that. All right, and so those first four are have been reconciled, but you'll notice that the next two are nearly identical payments next on the list here. So in a real life scenario, you would need to investigate this. Here these look like two sales tax payments, one for $38.50, one for $38.40. So what happened here? A common scenario is that someone entered a transaction with the wrong amount. Then when the bank feed came along, it didn't match, and so they just added a new one. Regardless, for the purposes of this exercise, we will use the one that matches the bank statement. And as a rule of thumb, when there is a discrepancy, the bank is always correct. So let's go ahead and click on the transaction that matches the bank statement, which happens to be for $38.40. So let's click on that one, that next one right there. And then let's continue checking all of the matching transactions when we compare it to the bank statement. So let's keep on moving through. So we did that one. Okay, so for Tanya's nursery, we have two, one for $89.09 and then one for $108.09. So let's see what we have here. Here is Tanya's nursery for $189.09. Then we have another one here for $108.09. Moving on, check number 5 for $62.01. So let's see, here is check number 5 for $62.01. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And then let's keep moving through. So we have a deposit check for $86.40. Let's find that. That's the next one right here. And then let's see what the next two will be. One for Kate Whalen for $225 and then another deposit check for $105. So let's click on both of those, which happen to be the next two right here. And then we have two for Hicks Hardware, one for $250 and one for $24.36. So let's look at those. $250 for Hicks Hardware, and then another, oops, there we go. I clicked in to expand it. And then the other one here for Hicks Hardware for $24.36. All right, moving on. Squeaky Clean, we have one for $19.99. So let's do that. That is right here. So that happens to be the next one right here in this line. And then we have one for Bob's Burger Joint for $5.66. So let's click on that one. And then we have another one for check number 69 for $100. And then after that, Chin's Gas for $52.18. So let's click on both of those. So $100 here for that check. And then Chin's Gas, we have $52.18. This one says $52.14. Let's just double check here. And yes, that says 18 cents and this one says 14. So let's skip it for now and then we'll come back to it. So then we have here check number 70 for $185. So that is this one right here, check 70, $185. We have a deposit check here for $694. So let's click on that one. That's cool cars right here. We have one for Hall Property for $900 and then one for Hicks Hardware for $215.66. So here's that one for Hall Properties for $900. And then the other one I said was $215.66 from Hicks Hardware, which is this expense right here. Go ahead and click on that circle. And as you can see, as we're doing clicking these, this difference is changing based off of what is coming up here in the payments and deposits. All right, so let's move on to the second page here. So we have check number 2 for $18.08. So check number 2 for $18.08. There it is. And then we have a deposit check for $337.50. So let's go ahead and look at that. So this one right here, the next one for Dylan. And then Bob's Burger Joint, we have one for $3.86. And then it looks like another one for the insurance agency for $2,000. So let's click on both of those. They happen to be the next two that are showing up here. Then we have a bank deposit for $218.75. So that happens to be this one right here. And we are getting closer and closer to that zero difference here. All right, so then we have one for Travis Waldron for $103.55, and then another one for Freeman Sporting Goods for $50. So 100, here's the Travis one for $103.55, and then that Freeman Sporting Goods, here's that $50 one. So let's click onto that one. We have Books by Bessie for $75. So let's see here. Books by Bessie, here it is. Now, here I'm going to pause for 1 second because it says that the bank statement does not have a record of check number 12 written to Books by Bessie. This is a common scenario. People frequently take a while to cash their checks, and the bank will not have to record it, have a record of it until it has been cashed. So maybe that's a little bit high. Oh, yeah, that's a higher one up here, this check number 12. So let's continue moving on. This one looks correct here. This Books by Bessie for $75. So let's go back to that one and click that one off. And then we will see Squeaky Clean Car Wash, $19.99. So there's another one for Squeaky Clean Car Wash for $19.99. And then we have Pies Cakes for $87.50. That is this one right here. And then it looks like our last one right here is a bank deposit for $408. So let's go ahead and click on that one. Now we've gone through all of them, except there was the one that we need to go back and look at, but you can see that the difference is really clear, is moving clearly down to zero. Now let's take a look at some of these notifications here to see what alerts we need to keep in mind. So notice that there is a check transaction for $100, but there is no reference number. So if I scroll back up here, here is that one, that Tony Rondanu. This is, there's no check number associated with it. So where to go? Right here. These days, banks typically include a copy of the checks with the statement. So with some banks, QBO will now bring in the image of the check with the transaction as well. You could look at the check to confirm that it was made out to Tony Rondanu, but once confirmed, you can add the check number to the transaction while reconciling. So let's go ahead and add that, because if we go back to our bank statement here and we see that $100 check 69, I knew that it was for Tony Rondanu, but we should definitely add it here into QBO. So go ahead and click on the transaction to open up the details. So just click anywhere on that line. And then in the reference number field, we're going to type 69. That is right here. So click into it, type 69, and then you can go ahead and click on Save. So click on the green Save button. And now you can see that has been saved and it has been added to that transaction. So we've gone through all of the transactions, but here's that one from Chin's Gas and Oil that we were talking about before that didn't match exactly correctly, this 5214. Remember that what you're looking at here is the QBO transaction, this one right here. And remember, our rule of thumb is that the bank is always right. It's clear that someone simply mistyped the amount when they entered the transaction in QBO. You can change it during reconciliation in a similar way to how we added the check number in that previous step. So we're going to click on that transaction to open up the details. Click on this. And then we're going to change the amount to $52.18. So let's delete that. And then we're going to go ahead and click on the green Save button. And I believe now we are completely finished. We just need to click on the circle now that this 5218 is matching the 5218 here for Chin's Gas and Oil. So click on that circle and you can see now the difference is 0. So we are all finished here and we are we have the checking account fully reconciled. So let's go ahead and click on the green Finish Now button. And in addition to the transaction that was accidentally added and the check that hasn't yet cleared, there will also be transactions left unreconciled. This is because activity continues to happen in your account even after the bank statement's cutoff date. Also note that if you are in the same session of the sample company that you used to move the squeaky clean car wash transaction to petty cash, that was a much earlier exercise, that transaction will not appear on this list and you would be off by $19.99. So to resolve that, you would just click on the Edit Info button and then change the ending balance to this $25.6377. So you're all done with reconciling the checking account. Credit card statements typically come on a different schedule than bank statements. So you're all finished with reconciling for the day. So go ahead and click on the green Done button. And there you go. You have now reconciled both the savings and the checking accounts. Now, if you like this exercise and you'd like to do more like it, be sure to join our free 5-day bookkeeping challenge. All you need to do is click on the link in the description. If you'd like to continue on and move through our cool down section with me, we will be doing the last exercise where we practice running reports. And I will see you in the next video.